And welcome to Sunday and today here at the races. Keith, it's some good racing that we had
hmm
yesterday. It was some exciting action.
Absolutely. Good day of racing yesterday. Glad we got it in. Team effort with it. Those temperatures yesterday, they weren't the easiest of conditions, to get that card through. But we did it. We're back today. We'll talk about those stakes later. And it was good to have Dan Illman on set
Yes,
yesterday with me.
absolutely.
I kind of had the easy job, like just kind of kicking it to him and letting him go. And he had a pretty good winner there on top. We were both shocked to see 10-1 on Bonded on the turf, and he kind of gave a
Oh,
little wake
yeah.
up on a price play on Talk to the Judge, talking about that one. It was going to be the speed, he thought, and sure enough, we saw that track yesterday, Callie. Inside was good, speed was good. We'll
Very
see if
good.
it plays out today. There are your conditions right now.
And we did have a little bit of rain
Mm-hmm.
yesterday. We had some storm cells that came in just in time right after the races
Yes.
yesterday. So of course we have a good track and we are off the turf
Mm-hmm.
today. So just keep that in mind. It's as Keith, as you mentioned, it's going to be interesting how it plays out. I think it's going to play a bit similarly, but we'll see.
Okay.
We'll see what the day brings us. Let's kick things off here in the start of the early pick 5 in race number 1.
Mm-hmm.
In this claiming 25,000 for the 3-year-olds and upwards, which have never won 3, going 7 furlongs on the dirt. Keith, you land on the number 1, as do I, B West. Let's go ahead and take a look at B West back in July, just last
Mm-hmm.
start out.
Saw this pattern play out yesterday for a little lesser tag with Uncaptured Storm, Callie. A 4-time winner in this condition, basically of 3 lives or the 3-year-old. So Brittany Russell and company taking advantage, and this was just kind of looked like a public workout a little bit. B West got an assist. Street Hustle stumbled out of the gate, was able to kind of go on by that long shot and cruise home with a lifetime best 77 buyer figure. Draws favorably to the inside, has positional speed. May want to sit just off of it in here with some speeds to the outside, but really taking an edge here. Holds the condition. Going to be very tough if he comes back anything like that last race. And out of that race, we saw Street Hustle run a big one. Broke clean yesterday,
Yes.
moved up inside. Well, actually broke a little slow, hopped at the break,
It was a
moved up
late-
and got the lead.
yes.
But, man, just dominated with an 80 fig. So things, B West going to be awfully tough to beat in here. If you're looking for a little bit of a price, I kind of like the 2 a little bit. The way that
Yep.
the track was good, inside speed yesterday. Turf to dirt angle for Kieran works. First off the claim always
Yep.
works for this barn.
Yes.
But showed a lot of heart 2 races back when having a little trouble mid-stretch, shifted out and came on again.
And there we have it, 1, 2, 3, 6 for Keith Fustel in at the start of that early pick 5. That does begin in about 57 minutes. Keith, let's go to the early pick 4. Let's take a look at your ticket right now.
Yeah, early pick 4 ticket. Race 2, 2 deep. It's only $20 today, pretty cheap. Abadale, a lot of people I think are going to single this one. We had a lot of scratches in race 2. We'll go through those, but I go 1 and 7. Race 3 with the 3 and the 6, My Flicker, Combat Queen. We've got video of her last race. Race 4, 2 deep as well with the 5 and the 6, Cadre. And Smithick Spice, that horse is always tough. Man, it hasn't run a bad one in a long, long time coming in from Jersey. And race 5, I thought this was a real kind of a scramble. Austin for Boston, I think could be the favorite in there. Yeah, 1, 2, 5, 6, 7. I wouldn't be scared to add a couple others in there. There's $20 for your ticket.
Why not? There in race number 5, I take a different approach, but I like your approach a little bit better, going a little bit wide in that starter race. But let's go ahead and get back to that first leg that does kick off the early pick 5. In race number 2, this was originally on the turf, now 8 furlongs on the dirt and 1 turn mile on the dirt for the girls, 3 and up in the starter optional 20 scratch. The 1A, 2, 3, 5, 6, 8, and 9. Keith, you and I both land on Abidale.
Yeah.
Before Jamie Ness, Jamie Rodriguez gets the call.
Yeah, wanted the main track only and got it.
Yes.
Got that storm late yesterday after the card. And, yeah, I mean, the proven form right now on the dirt, recency, it's been good off a little bit of a break, a 68, 67 on the turf. And turf to dirt off wins. That angle works strong. So positional speed, Cupid's Dream has only been on the dirt 1 time. I was an off the turf event, I believe, down at Tampa. Ran well. But Abadale, it's going to probably be her race to lose. I think she's on or near the lead here in this shorter, condensed field. Jenny Highway has a couple good efforts on the dirt on the way back. I think
Yes.
like 21.
Yes.
Comes off a sprint, 5.5 on the grass. A little bit of a late run in there. Wouldn't be it a real big surprise if that one got it done.
And not at all. I like this. I like this approach with this filly. And Phil Cap, 3 for 8 turf to dirt as of lately. So there we have it, 1-7-10 for Keith Fusel at the start of that early pick 4. Let's go to the second leg in that starter optional 30, going 5.5 on the dirt as intended for the girls. 3 and up scratch the 1A Lady Zeta. Of course, that starts the rainbow pick 6. Forgive me, how could I? A nice carryover of just over $6,000. I gave a super simple structure on my ticket. I couldn't find a single today, especially just with the off the turf and a couple that I just like too much tied together. I think we have some potentially, especially with the track being good, that kind of turns the tide for me a little bit in some of these where I couldn't really land on a single. So instead of going wide on race number 5, which is something I wanted to do, I wait until the maiden claiming 30 in race number 8. Of course, Lady Ensign for Mike Trombetta is going to be strong, but just might as well throw in a couple in that race because I think the favorite is going to be pretty strong in race number 5. But $25, 60 cents for that rainbow pick 6. That pool is just at 6,000. That starts in race number 3, the second leg of the early pick 4, as well as starting the rainbow pick 6. Starter optional, 5.5 on the dirt as intended for the girls. 3 and up, scratch the 1A Lady Zeta, scratch number 4 Rock Rose. A big scratch for me. Keith, you land on the number 3 Combat Queen. Let's go ahead and take a look at Combat Queen back in her last start on July 8th. At the start, rough start.
Yeah, but a little stumble there. But was able to recover. You're going to see that stumble right there out of the break, and this familiar Silks, the Country Life, one more time. Able to recover, get within range, and sat down inside. By the time they hit past the 5/16 pole, Combat Queen was able to get up into position here and just lurking, just off a contested pace. Rock Rose, not going to be in there today, ran second, I believe, last night at Charlestown. Combat Queen's going to work a little trip from an inside out to get it done. And she's, third off of a break, has topped out at a 75. Now, being on a wet track, I think this track is going to be fast. It's teetering between good and fast right now, but just like this little grinding run that she's going to make. She's got positional speed in a shorter field. If horses like Paper Mansion and My Flicker go, she's going to be tough from just off. But I give a slight edge, just a slight edge here to My Flicker off the claim.
There we have it. So, Keith, when you go here 3, 6, 5,
Yeah.
and 2, keying in on My Flicker, as you mentioned, first off of the claim, 2 entries for this barn and the connections on the 23rd of June and on the 8th of July. One was a trainer scratch, one was a steward scratch in that starter optional last time out. So, but I think with a couple of these scratches, I like this pick on top. Finds a good spot here.
Yeah, this race nested me a little curveball because I thought he'd keep Lady Zeta in, who looked like the lone lick of life, and see you later. Looked like she was just faster. Now, Paper Mansion, got away with a really soft pace last time, and she was beaten by Combat Queen. I guess they're going to be aggressive with that one. But I think My Flicker can, if she's right, can go ahead and roll up there early, dog the pace, and go on. Maybe I think she's got a little bit of a jump here on Combat Queen, but 3-6, 6-3 for me in here. Awesome View tries very hard. Yep.
Absolutely, and we'll do so in race number 4 as we move on in this allowance optional claiming 40,000. Originally on the turf, now 5.5 on the dirt for the 3-year-olds and up scratch the 1 Embolden, the 2 Zeramid, and the 3 Boats a Rockin'. Keith, you and I both land on the number 5 Cadre for Norman Cash. Gets Horacio Caramanos. Comes off of a nice spacing in between races.
Yeah, and that's the key, really. A good effort back in April on the turf and a good try on the main track at 7/8. It hasn't won, only a couple starts at the 5.5, but now looking at this condensed field, just 4 with Caramanos, a fresh horse with a bullet work coming in. He could be the speed of the speed. I think if they want to go ahead and aggressive, go do so, secure the inside. Spinning Spice, though, this is a horse we talked about coming in for Robert Paterno off that try at Monmouth going long. Has shown races going 5.5 on the main track against the right kind of company to hang around. This horse just never runs a bad race. Really like this horse. Been a fan of him a long time.
And there we have it, 5, 6, 4, 7 for Keith Fusel in race number 4. Race number 5, we will be right back to talk about race number 5 after this commercial here on this 8 race at day card.
And they're off.
welcome back. Let's dive into that maiden claiming 12-5. Keith, you go 5 wide on your ticket on this one to near wrap up that early pick 4. 7 furlongs on the dirt for the 3, 4, and 5-year-olds. You and I both land, of course, on Austin from Boston. You mentioned have a feeling that this horse is going to probably be taking the biggest money.
Take plenty of play, no doubt about it, off the last race. That was first off of a long break. Ran into Nick's Little Boy. That was the dropper. We had that one, I believe, for Phil Catt. Went turf to dirt. The blinkers went on. Ran a really fast race, 22 and 3, 46, and just kept on going. This was off a little bit slow. Made a good middle move, and I liked the effort. Kept on going. Third place finisher has come back to win, and I think ran a second. Some okay numbers, like maybe lower mid-50s, so that works for me. Prince Fire, the 5, looks maybe like this. The speed of the speed. Cal, we'll see if they're just going to be on the engine. Grant Whitaker just goes ahead and sends. But just a little bit better break, a little bit more conditioning now for the 2. I think he can go ahead and move into position, striking position somewhere mid-turn. And look like the way he kept on going, I think the 7 furlongs is within his scope.
And there we have it, 2, 7,
Yep.
6, 5.
Talk about the 7,
So
Cal.
talking
Distant
about the
Fire.
7, of
Yes,
course.
absolutely. Out of that same race on July the 7th. Up early, a little take back. And then, kind of just gave up a lot of ground, 4 to 5 lengths from the far turn to like past mid-turn, and then kind of ramped it back up. We're going to barn change here to Kieran McGee. Angel Cruz, he doesn't ride Cruz a whole lot. Interesting little maneuver, but I think this horse at 7/8, if he's going to fire his best race, it's going to be at this distance.
Keith Fusel, 2765 there in race number 5. Race number 6 is an off-the-turf event, now a one-turn mile on the dirt for the 3-year-olds and up. In this claiming 16, which have never won 3, let's dive into the scratches of the 3, 4, 5, and 6. B Major, Prince of Cap, Seville Rowe, and Grecian Pharaoh. Keith, you have the number 2 on the engine on top.
Yeah.
This is for Damon Deal DeVico. Gets J-Ron Barbosa back in the saddle.
Still might hold a little bit of value. 10 to 1 in the morning on the turf will obviously be much lower than that on the main track. But third off of a break, going around a ground with these claimers, it's a positive move. I think it's like mid-20%, 22, 25%, if I remember correctly, for Damon, a positive ROI. I tell you, the field just got away from last time. I know it was 23 and 4. It was a little slower opening quarter. I think maybe got fooled a little bit. Then got in some trouble early. That was it. Took this guy off his rhythm, was not going to make up ground as a leader. Island Delight got away with it up front. You look at this race at the mile distance, I think he's going to be put into it with Barbosa. Maybe he doesn't want to go and bang heads with a My Boy Colton or looking for justice. If he's going to come back and run a big race, because he's been a little bit flat of late, this is the wake-up call for him to sit from just off of it. He'll be able to secure inside position and move into it through the lane.
You have underneath Looking for Justice, and let's go ahead and take a look at Looking for Justice back in this last start on the 24th, late June.
Yeah, this was a turf race, and I was going to use this one on the turf, but you know what? He's a user on the dirt as well. He's got a top number of a 65 on a fast track, and you've got a barn here. Annette Eubanks going pretty good. Another win yesterday, right?
Yes. 33%.
Graham winner, Brittany Russell, Mariah Montoya. Oh, yeah, they were rolling yesterday. But Looking for Justice was able to get good position. Flow was okay, works outward, and I think continues on very well at the mile on the grass. It's going to numbers similar on the go back on the dirt. I think this one works. Fast enough to get early position, no doubt about it. Shouldn't be more than a length or two off of it mid-turn, if not on the lead, if My Boy Colton doesn't get aggressive.
What's your take on Food Foodie, who draws in Rudy Sanchez, Salmon Jonavello?
Yeah, dropping 25 to 16. Jumps a condition. Eligible for 2 in life. You usually don't see that, but first Lasix on the main track. New York Panther came back out of that last race to run pretty well. Would not be a surprise even with this jump into condition. Has the kind of finish I think that's going to work even though he's jumping up from the 2 in life to the 3 in life.
Fair enough. Keith
Yep.
Fusel, 2, 6, 10, 8 there in race number 6. Race number 7 is an allowance optional 40, going 6 furlongs on the dirt. Keith, you have the number 5 on top, Synergy Star, and let's take a look at that last effort with Synergy Star. I really love that performance last time out.
Yeah, the Kenny Cox barn. I mean, the winds have been a little bit elusive, right? But the horses are running well, and Synergy Star looks like he's kind of ramping back. And he's at best form right now. And this was a good field. Pit stop, man. Indian Lake, 2 really salty sprinters, horses that were in good form, battling out. He shifts out. Is going to make that run right up to him here, leaving the 8th pole. Dead game to the wire. a good race 2 races back. We saw Holy Synchronicity come back and run okay yesterday in the stake.
Your horse.
I like where he's going to lurk again because Lad needs a handler, really good speed from the inside, along with full authority. Another horse that can press it. Synergy Star. Let's get it done today for Bonicelli Racing. Kenny Cox, the last 3 years on the dirt, 10 for 37, Cal, like 27%, 21 to 37 in the money with runners off of 3 ascending figs. You got that right now for this one. The ROI is good at 356. Let's stalk and pounce today with Fergal Lynch.
And then there you go. You also have the number 2 underneath as you air token for Norm Cash, Horacio Caramanos coming in off of a little bit of time in between. Was entered as an MTO going on the turf last time out on the 9th of July, but was obviously a scratch.
If you're not a fan of this horse, you're not a fan of it. He just kind of shows up almost all the time. He's a horse that you can kind of put him almost anywhere. He really likes this distance. He's 5 for 11. Speed just to his inside. I think he's quick enough now, and he's shown he's been kind of sharp in these last couple races to go ahead and prompt the issue of Lad needs a handler, get engaged, and keep on going. 5-2-4-1. Where Paradise Lay, I think, is going to draft into a very good spot. It's the finish. Can he get over the top that last 16th of a mile? He's going to have to show me a little bit more, but not a surprise to me in those exactas and tries.
And there we have it. 5-2-4-1 for Keith Fusel there in the 7th, race number 8 off the turf, but still pretty interesting. 5.5 on the dirt now for the girls, 3, 4, and 5. A maiden claiming 30. Scratch in the 5, Chalice. Scratch in the 7, Ganbat. You have the number 9 on top. Kentucky Rain for Hugh McMahon, William Humphrey. He did this one with another one yesterday in Stimulus Maker, coming back and from that route to sprint effort.
Yeah, Stimulus Maker. I should have had that exact. I missed it. I used him in there, but anyhow, he got off a little bit slow and rallied in, worked in between horses to get up. And that was a good win. Phil Toman, the last name's going to escape me, but had his first win yesterday, right, as a trainer with inside stunt. So that was good. But Kentucky Rain, no, I think it was geared up, went into a set pretty brisk fractions, worked through those at a mile. They protected this one off the claim. Maiden claiming 10 back in May, right, off, and then comes back. Maiden special weight. Okay, they must like this one. I think she's going to have enough speed to just kind of hound, Ginger Girl, go ahead and press and go on. Lady Instant, I'm a little bit mad at her. I thought she'd run a little bit better last time. Did not. You've got that one on top. She's going to be a short price. I think Kentucky Rain gets you a little bit more value. Ginger Girl was good. That race was all right. Held on much better. And the 8 Candy Coop was a horse turning back in distance. Maybe the 5.5 is just a little too short. But I think if there's things get heated up front, that's the one that might be running best at the end.
And there we have it, 91844, Keith Fusel, and we are just now going to go ahead and dig in to that lightning round, and we're going to talk about a little bit of value that you're giving us in both your best bet and your value play, Keith. Starting with your value play in race number 6 in the 2-horse on the engine, Damon Deal DeVico, J-Ron Barbosa.
Yeah, I'm hoping we can get around 4-1 in there, 7-2-4. It's not huge value, but enough. I still think it's a contentious race, but looking for this one third off the bench, stretching out here to get a good spot with Barbosa around the turn and be able to kind of grind it out. It doesn't bring a huge run. It's going to be a battle of attrition, as I like to say sometimes, that last 3/16 of a mile. Yep. Let's see if on the engine, for a barn that's going very well right now, can get it done for you at a square number.
As you mentioned, another barn that has horses running well. Kenny Cox for your best bet with Synergy Star, Fergal Lynch. Of course, we have that wonderful stat on the ascending figures that you have.
Yeah, that's the number. And like you talk about, these horses are running well. This guy is he's due a win. He's running too good not to get a win. He looks like he's going to be in the spot that's just lurking as they turn for home and hopefully make that winning move.
As we talked about earlier in the show, some good racing was had yesterday, and we had 4 stakes. Let's go ahead and just take a peek at all those stakes. Of course, in the Miss Disco, talk to the judge for Victor Carrasco, Mariah Montoya, and then Super Accelerate for Robin Graham and Horacio Caramanos in the Star de Nascra. And then, of course, Be Better for Brittany Russell and Sheldon Russell. First win for Mike Rapoli in the disputed testimony, and then McGueen for Ned Aller, Javian Toledo in our last stakes in the Alma. Excuse me, not the last stakes in the Alma North. Our last stakes, of course, in the Frank J. DeFrancis Memorial Dash goes to Lightning Larry for Georgie Delgado and Daniel Centeno.
I thought Wonder Where Craig was gone. He had the inside. He got the lead, and Lightning Larry, he was just dogged. He was not gonna be denied. You know, that last 16th of a mile, big try for him. That was a buyer of 93. I'll run through the buyer figures for you real quick if you haven't looked at them yet. Talk to the judge, a 74. Super Accelerate, a 90. Boy, Robin Graham has got that one finally. He's the now horse, as I like to say. Boy, really good effort. Had a theme. Inside Out was working well, or Inside was good all the way through yesterday. Be Better with a 96. Another one on the ascent for Brittany Russell. Begin, an 89 in the Alma North. As we said, Lightning Larry, a 93 in the De France. Good day of racing, and again, I mean, for everybody involved, that we're able to get us through that card. I mean, it was a little touch and go, right? But we got it done.
It was really interesting because with Lightning Larry and Wonder Where Craig is, I believe that that was both trainers' first graded stakes winners, respectively.
Okay.
It was Georgie Delgado's first graded. Lightning Larry was Georgie's first graded stakes winner. And then Wonder Where Craig was Brittany's first graded.
Okay.
So it was it was a fun matchup, both running very well. It was nice to see. And we will be back for Thursday racing. Don't forget Thursday racing. We do have that fun card coming up from Friday's card, and we are going to head over to Dave Rodman to circle back to this card for some more changes and scratches.
All right, good luck, everybody.